Imran Ahmed Khan Niazi was born on the 5th of October, 1952, in Lahore. In a respectable but not super luxury family, his parents wanted him to have a good education, strong character, and a life of dignity. Pakistan was still a young country when he was a child, full of hope but also facing poverty, political instability, and identity struggles. In the streets of Lahore, cricket was one of the biggest passions. For many boys, a bat and ball were the only tools they had to dream with. One of those boys was Imran. He did not know it yet, but the game he played in dusty grounds would one day make him a national hero and open the door to a very different kind of leadership. As a child, Imran was quiet, reserved, and focused. He came from a Pushtun Niazi family on his father's side and a cultured, educated background on his mother's side. His parents were not poor, but they were not royalty either. They belonged to that middle layer of society that knows both the struggle of ordinary life and the taste of opportunity. They sent him to good schools like Hsin College in Lahore, where he experienced discipline and competition. In those days, sports were not just after-school activities, they were training grounds for character. He started bowling fast, tirelessly practicing his run-up in action, trying to bowl quicker and more accurately every day. Later, he went to England for further education, attending the Royal Grammar School in Worcester and then the prestigious Oxford University, where he studied philosophy, politics, and economics. For a boy from Lahore, walking through the old stone buildings and green lawns of Oxford was like living in another world. He met people from rich Western backgrounds as well as students from other colonized and developing countries. He learned how the West saw the world and how they saw Pakistan and Muslims. These experiences opened his eyes to global politics, history, and inequality. At the same time, he played cricket for his university, sharpening his skills on the pitches of England. Where the game had been born, Imran's cricketing talent became impossible to ignore. In the early 1970s, he made his debut for the Pakistan national cricket team. At first, he was just one of many young fast bowlers, but his pace, height, and determination soon made him stand out. He trained his body hard, building muscle and stamina. He studied other great bowlers, observing how they used swing, seam, and aggression. Over time, he transformed himself from a raw, slim youngster into one of the world's most feared fast bowlers. Batsmen around the world began to feel that facing Imran Khan was not just playing a game, it was a test of courage. But there was another side to his cricket journey. Pakistan's cricket system was often disorganized. Politics, favoritism, and lack of facilities made it hard for players to get consistent support. Imran experienced all of this firsthand. He saw talented boys ignored and poor players struggling for chances. These lessons would later influence his political thinking. On the field, he learned that a team from a developing country could still beat the best in the world if it believed in itself, worked hard, and had honest leadership. Off the field, he saw how unfair systems could waste potential. Through the late 1970s and 1980s, Imran Khan rose to become one of the best all-rounders in cricket, a fast bowler, a capable batsman, and a sharp captain. He played county cricket in England, where he was exposed to professionalism, fitness culture, and modern strategies. He brought these ideas back to Pakistan, pushing his teammates to become fitter, more disciplined, and more confident. He was demanding, sometimes tough, even difficult, but he was also inspirational. He led from the front, often bowling long, painful spells while carrying injuries, and walking into bat when the team was in trouble. The peak of his cricket career came in 1992. Pakistan had never won the Cricket World Cup. The team was inconsistent, and often underestimated. Meanwhile, Imran was nearing the end of his playing days. His body had taken punishment for years. Injuries had forced him to retire once already. But he returned to lead the national side in one last campaign. He used the image of a tiger, fierce, fearless, and focused as a symbol for his team. Play like cornered tigers, he told them, meaning that even when they were pushed back, they should fight with everything they had. The 1992 World Cup campaign started badly. Pakistan lost early matches, and critics wrote them off. But under Imran's leadership, the team slowly turned things around. They played with courage, self-belief, and unity. Young players like Inza Mulhaq rose to the occasion, backed by Imran's trust. In the final at Melbourne, Pakistan faced England. Imran, wearing a shirt with a tiger logo, walked out to bat in a pressure situation and anchored the innings. Later, his bowlers defended the total bravely. When the last English wicket fell, Pakistan were world champions for the first time. Imran lifted the trophy, and millions of Pakistanis cried with joy. For many, that night was one of the happiest moments in the country's history. For Imran, personally, the victory was not just about sport. He dedicated the win to a dream that had started with pain, the dream of building a cancer hospital in Pakistan. His mother, Shaukat Khanum, had died of cancer some years earlier. Imran had watched her suffer. Traveling with her to foreign hospitals because Pakistan lacked advanced cancer treatment centers accessible to ordinary people, her death left him with a wound and a mission. He promised that one day Pakistanis would have a world-class cancer hospital, where those who could not pay would be treated free of cost. After retiring from cricket, he threw his full energy into fundraising and building the Shaukat Khanum Memorial Cancer Hospital and Research Center in Lahore. Many people told him it was impossible. The project was too big, too expensive, too ambitious for a country with so many other problems. But Imran went from city to city, village to village, speaking in markets, on TV, and at events. He collected donations from rich businessmen, small shopkeepers, schoolchildren, and even people who sold their jewelry to help. Slowly, brick by brick, the hospital became real. When it finally opened in the mid-1990s, it was a major symbol of what determination, trust, and public support could achieve. For many Pakistanis, this hospital became Imran's greatest riches. It did not make him money. In fact, it demanded sacrifice, but it gave him something else: moral capital and respect. People saw that he was willing to use his fame and energy not just for personal comfort, but to serve the sick and the poor. Later, more cancer hospitals would follow in other cities. And he would also establish a university in Mianwali, showing that he was serious about long-term nation-building projects. However, Imran Khan was not satisfied with charity alone. As he looked at Pakistan's political system, he saw corruption, dynastic politics, and leaders who seemed more interested in their own wealth than in the welfare of ordinary citizens. Roads would be built, but left broken. Schools would exist only on paper. Poor people would stand in long lines for small favors. He believed that to truly change the country, it was not enough to build a few hospitals. The entire political culture needed to be transformed. With this idea, in 1996, he founded his own political party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, PTI, the Movement for Justice. At the beginning, PTI was small and weak. Most people laughed at the idea that a former cricketer could become a serious political leader. He had no big political family behind him, no huge machinery or decades-old party network. In election after election, PTI won very few seats or none at all. Imran himself lost contests and spent long stretches outside parliament. TV anchors mocked him. Rivals called him naive or stubborn, but he continued to speak about justice, the rule of law, and ending corruption. He talked about a welfare state based on the principles of the early Islamic state of Medina, where leaders lived simply and the poor were protected. The years between 1996 and 2011 were a long desert for him politically. He remained in national debates but had little formal power. Yet he used this time to build his narrative. He criticized military dictatorships and civilian governments when he thought they were unfair or corrupt. He took strong stances against drone attacks and the human cost of the war on terror. He would go to protests, meet students, and give interviews where he repeated the same basic idea: Pakistan needed clean leadership, strong institutions, an investment in human development instead of just mega projects. Around 2011, something began to change. A new generation of Pakistanis had grown up watching him as a cricket hero and then as a consistent voice against corruption. Social media gave him a fresh way to connect with the youth. Big rallies in Lahore and Karachi showed that thousands later, hundreds of thousands were ready to listen. PTI started attracting professionals, young activists, and even some established politicians. Imran's slogan of Naya Pakistan, New Pakistan, caught fire. For many frustrated citizens, especially young people and the urban middle class, he represented a chance to break the old two-party dominance. In the 2013 general elections, PTI emerged as a major national force. Although it did not win power at the federal level, however, it formed a government in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, KPK province. This was Imran's first chance to show what his party could do in government. The KPK government focused on reforms in education, healthcare, and the police. There were successes and criticisms, but overall, PTI built a reputation for trying new approaches, like better public hospitals, rat-based recruitment, and some level of accountability for officials. Imran used KPK as an example to argue that his team could govern differently, if given a chance at the national level. After 2013, he increased pressure on the federal government with Dharna sit-in protests and large rallies, especially after making allegations of election rigging. Islamabad saw long stretches of protest camps, speeches, music, and slogans. Some people supported these methods as necessary to challenge a powerful status quo. Others felt they created instability and weakened institutions. Imran's political style was confrontational, passionate, and sometimes polarizing. Yet his core message remained centered on justice, anti-corruption, dignity for ordinary people. The turning point came in the 2018 general elections. After years of struggle, PTI won the largest number of seats in the National Assembly. And with the support of coalition partners, Imran Khan became the 22nd Prime Minister of Pakistan. For his supporters, it was a dream come true. The man who had lifted the World Cup trophy and built a cancer hospital was now raising his hand to take the oath as the country's leader. They saw it as proof that perseverance can beat dynastic politics and that a clean leader could reach the highest office. As Prime Minister, Imran Khan faced huge challenges from day one. Pakistan's economy was under pressure. Foreign reserves were low. Debts were high, and there was a need to seek help from international institutions. His government negotiated with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and friendly countries, trying to stabilize the economy. At home, he launched social programs like ESOs, aimed at supporting the poorest families with cash transfers, health cards, and shelter homes. He spoke about building a welfare state, planting billions of trees for the environment, and improving governance through digitalization and merit. Imran also tried to project a different image of leadership. He talked about simplicity, austerity, and reducing the luxurious lifestyle of rulers. He chose to live in a smaller residence instead of the full prime ministerial palace, and often emphasized modest clothing and simple language. These symbolic gestures impressed some people who were tired of seeing politicians live like kings. However, symbols alone were not enough. The public judged him by results too. As inflation rose and jobs remained scarce for many, criticism grew that his government had not delivered the economic relief people were expecting quickly enough. On the foreign policy front, he presented Pakistan as a country that wanted peace in the region, especially with its neighbors. He spoke about the need for dialogue over war and tried to play a role in encouraging talks in Afghanistan. He also highlighted Islamophobia in global forums and argued that Muslims were unfairly stereotyped. For many Pakistanis, seeing their prime minister speak confidently in international arenas and quoting from the life of the Prophet PBU as a model of justice and mercy was a source of pride at the same time. His period in power was marked by intense political polarization. Opposition parties accused his government of using accountability institutions selectively against them. Journalists and activists raised concerns about press freedom and pressure on dissenting voices. Some critics argued that his rise had been supported by powerful non-political institutions, while his supporters claimed that he was challenging corrupt mafias who wanted to protect their old privileges. The debate over his government's performance, fairness, and independence became heated and emotional. In 2022, after several years in office, Imran Khan's government faced a no-confidence vote in parliament. Opposition parties united against him, accusing him of mismanaging the economy and foreign policy. He, in turn, accused them of plotting with outside forces and trying to escape accountability. The political drama played out on television screens and social media timelines across the country. In the end, the no-confidence motion succeeded, and he was removed from the office of Prime Minister. It was the first time in Pakistan's history that a Prime Minister had been ousted through a successful no-confidence vote. For many leaders, such a fall from power would mean the end of their political story. But Imran Khan's journey did not end there. He continued to hold massive rallies, presenting himself as a leader who had been unfairly removed. His popularity among a large section of the population, especially the youth and overseas Pakistanis, remained strong. Legal cases, controversies, and political battles continued to surround him, turning his story into one of the most dramatic and polarizing in Pakistan's modern history. Supporters saw him as a symbol of resistance against a corrupt system. Critics saw him as a divisive figure who had deepened political tensions. When we look at Imran Khan's life as a story of riches, we see many layers. On one level, he had fame, glamour, and international status as a cricket star. He was admired around the world, appeared on magazine covers, and lived in big cities. But the deeper riches of his life are not the fancy images. They are the long, painful, and stubborn struggles. From a sick and injured fast bowler to a World Cup winning captain. From a grieving son to the founder of a cancer hospital. From a small party leader mocked on talk shows to a prime minister, leading a nuclear-armed country through crises. His story also shows the double edge of ambition. The same drive that helped him win matches and build institutions could, in politics, turn into confrontations and polarization. His greatest strengths, self-belief, passion, and refusal to give up also created sharp divides. This makes his journey more human and complex. He is not a simple fairy tale hero. He is a man whose decisions, words, and style are loved by some and criticized by others. History will keep debating his place among Pakistan's leaders for many years. For your viewers, the most powerful lesson in Imran Khan's story is persistence. He faced injuries that could have ended his cricket career, yet he came back stronger. He faced years of political failure, yet he did not walk away. He chose difficult paths raising money for a huge hospital, building a new party from scratch when easier, more comfortable options were available. Whether one agrees with his politics or not, his life shows that big dreams require long patience, thick skin, and a willingness to be alone when others doubt you. In the end, his riches are not just in trophies, titles, or offices. They are in the millions of hearts that felt pride when Pakistan lifted the World Cup, in the patients treated free of cost at hospitals built in his mother's name, and the young people who looked at his journey and decided that they, too, could challenge the status quo. His story is a reminder that richness can mean using your talent, fame, and energy not only to shine for yourself, but to try successfully or imperfectly to change the direction of a whole country.